Scientist Hoagland is now arriving. Let's see if we can get a quick interview with him. Excuse me, Scientist Hoagland. Scientist Hoagland.
Yes, ma'am?
Do you have time for a quick interview?
I guess I can make a couple minutes.
Okay, well, a few questions for you, sir. Can you tell me the interactions of different parts of the food web in the Arctic?
Well, some people might say, what kind of food can you find in a frozen land? The short growing season means a simple food web exists on the tundra, where animals leave or go dormant in the harshest part of the winter. For many months of the year, the tundra becomes a frozen desert and little nutrients to be found. Food webs of the tundra are limited due to the lack of sunshine. The start of any food web is sunshine, and for many months of the year, there is little to no sun shining on the tundra, which becomes a frozen desert. When the spring thaw bursts forth, a simple tundra food web quickly begins production. Plants are devoured by herbivores, and carnivores eat the animals that have eaten the plants. When light and temperature conditions of the tundra permit, plant growth begins. Typical plant growth of the tundra includes low-growing perennial shrubs and grasses, mosses, and lichens. Vegetation leads to invertebrate grazers, such as grasshoppers, caterpillars, and other leaf-eating bugs. The increased number of insects draws predatory invertebrates like spiders and carnivorous beetles. The increased activity of the tundra food web draws larger vertebrates such as birds and grazing animals. Tundra birds may be year-round residents, such as the rock ptarmigan, or migratory from southern regions like sandpipers and plovers. Caribou herds move into grazing grounds. Ducks and geese arrive on and feed on the vegetation. Small mammals such as lemmings take the increased food supply as a sign to begin the breeding.
Okay, Scientist Hoagland, my next question will be, can you tell me the role of the humans in the ecosystem in the Arctic?
The earliest inhabitants of North America's central and eastern Arctic are referred to as the Arctic Small Tool Tradition, AST, and existed since 2500 BC. ACT consisted of several Palo-Eskimo cultures, including the Independence cultures, and pre-consisted of pre-Dorist culture. Dorist culture refers to the next inhabitants of Central and Eastern Arctic. The Dorset culture evolved because of technological and economic changes during the period of 1050 and 550 BC. With the exception of the Quebec, Labrador Peninsula, the Dorset culture vanished around the 1500 AD. Supported by genetic testing, evidence shows that the Dorset culture, known as the Sauroruminant, survived in Ayvik, Southampton, and Coats Islands till the beginning of the 20th century. Dorset Thule culture transition dates around the 9th and 10th centuries. Scientists theorize that there may have been cross contact of the two cultures with sharing of technology, such as fashioning harpoon heads, or the Thule may have found Dorset remnants and adapted their ways with the procedure culture. Others believe the Thule displaced the Dorset. By 1300s, the Inuit, present-day Arctic inhabitants and descendants of Thule culture, and had settled in West Greenland and moved into East Greenland over the following century. Over time, the Inuit have migrated throughout the Arctic regions of Canada, Greenland, Russia, and even the United States. Other circumpolar North indigenous peoples include the Chukchi, the Evenks, the Inupiat, the Chanti, the Koraks, the Nenets, the Sami, the Yolkar, and Yupak, who still refer to themselves as Eskimos.
One last question, sir. How do catastrophic events affect the ecosystem in the Arctic?
Well, all I know is the worst one of any catastrophic event that scientists are still watching is global warming. The Arctic is global warming's canary in the coal mine. It's a highly sensitive region, and it's being powerfully affected by the changing climate. Most scientists view what's happening now in the Arctic as a harbinger of things to come. Average temperatures in the Arctic region are rising twice as fast as they are elsewhere in the world. Arctic ice is getting thinner, melting, and rupturing. For example, the largest single block of ice in the Arctic, the Ward ice shelf, had been around for 3,000 years before it started cracking in 2000. Within 2 years, it had split all the way through and is now breaking into pieces. The polar ice cap as a whole is shrinking. Images from NASA satellites show the area of permanent ice cover is contracting at a rate of 9% each decade. This trend continues. Summers in the Arctic could become ice-free by the end of the century. The melting of once permanent ice is already affecting native people, wildlife, and plants. When the Ward ice shelf splintered, the rare freshwater lake it enclosed, along with its unique ecosystem, drained to the ocean. Polar bears, whales, walruses, and seals are changing their feeding and migration patterns, making it harder for native people to hunt them. And along Arctic coastlines, entire villages will be uprooted because they're in danger of being swamped. The native people of the Arctic view global warming as a threat to their cultural identity and their very survival. Of ice cover in Arctic. According to a NASA Goddard Institute of Space Studies computer model, Kansas would be 4 degrees warmer in the winter without Arctic ice, which normally creates cold air masses that frequently slide southward into the United States. Warmer winters are bad news for wheat farmers who need freezing temperatures to grow winter wheat. And in the summer, warmer days could rob Kansas soil of 10% of its moisture, drying out valuable cropland. That's good.
Thank you, sir, so much for your time.